there somebody else inside?
Yes. So I think there's.
Okay, sir, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Calm down. Calm down. Other than your roommate, is there anybody else inside the house?
I don't know. I don't know.
Hello. First of all, we would like to express our condolences to Amie and her loved ones. Along with this message to everyone, please always love and live positively for a better life. Now let us look back at Amie's tragic story. On Valentine's night in 2020, as Hollywood lights twinkled in an atmosphere of love, a horrific tragedy quietly unfolded in the upscale Hollywood Hills. Dr. Amie Harwick, a renowned therapist known for her radiant smile and dedication, had just returned home after a joyful evening with friends. She had no idea that within her own home, a dark figure was lurking, awaiting a fateful moment. Just minutes after stepping into her third-floor bedroom, heart-wrenching screams pierced the air, jolting her housemate Michael Herman from his peaceful sleep. Michael, in a state of panic, heard the sound of shattering glass and violent struggling from above. Unable to find his phone, he shouted to drive off the intruder, but nothing changed. Amie's screams were stifled, then fell silent. Fearing the attacker was armed, Michael rushed outside, climbed over a metal fence, banged on a neighbor's door for help, and finally got a stranger to call 911. When police arrived at 1:25 a.m., they found Amie lying motionless beneath the third-floor balcony, her breathing faint, her neck covered in bruises, clear signs of a brutal assault. She was rushed to the hospital, but at 3:26 a.m., Amie Harwick passed away. The police quickly determined it was a meticulously planned murder. A syringe containing a lethal dose of nicotine, scattered rosary beads, and a shattered glass door revealed a horrifying story. Amie Harwick was an icon of resilience and talent in the glamorous, treacherous world of Hollywood. Born in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, and adopted by a loving couple, Amie grew up with emotional scars from feelings of abandonment. But instead of letting her past define her, she turned it into motivation. In 2001, she left her hometown for Los Angeles, carrying big dreams and a determination to change her life. There, Amie worked tirelessly. She took on various jobs to pay for her education, from personal trainer and go-go dancer to modeling for Playboy under the alias Nicolette Novak. Amie earned a master's degree in clinical psychology from Pepperdine University, followed by a doctorate in human sexuality. With these credentials, she opened a family and relationship therapy practice in West Hollywood, becoming a sought-after expert in mental health and sexuality. Beyond her career, Amie was a distinctive personality in Hollywood. She loved goth rock culture, frequently attending burlesque shows and metal clubs with her classic noir fashion style. She dated famous artists like Marilyn Manson and even owned a bra once belonging to Sharon Tate, a victim of a notorious crime acquired through an auction, a testament to her peculiar fascination with death and crime. Friends described her as a therapist by day, a go-go dancer by night. Intelligent, authentic, and full of energy. Amie wrote books, appeared on television, and founded a movement to connect women. But behind the glamour, a man obsessed with her from the past, Gareth Pursehouse, was silently stalking her. In 2010, at a Hollywood party, Amie Harwick met Gareth Pursehouse. Standing 6 feet 4 inches with a muscular build and a handsome face, Gareth was a photographer in the adult entertainment industry and a software engineer. He was a far cry from the metal musicians Amie typically dated, smart, funny, but a little eccentric. At first, Amie was drawn to his energy and charming appearance. They quickly plunged into a passionate relationship, but Gareth's mask soon slipped. Just a few months in, Gareth became excessively possessive, always demanding to know where she was and what she was doing. A friend found him creepy like Ted Bundy, good-looking but with hollow eyes, often mimicking Amie's interest to win her over. The initial sweetness turned into a nightmare as Gareth revealed his violent nature. In a 2011 restraining order request, Amie recounted how he had choked her, pushed her down, kicked her, and even struck her with his fists. She wrote, "He said he hit me because I made him too angry." Shockingly, the request was denied due to insufficient evidence. After their breakup in early 2011, Gareth wouldn't let go. He incessantly texted her begging to reconcile, broke into her apartment, smashed picture frames, and plastered dozens of roses on her door. On one occasion, he dragged her out of her car, hit her until her nose bled, and left her on the highway. By 2012, Amie secured a 5-year restraining order after his relentless harassment. She tried to rebuild her life, but Gareth never forgot her. In the shadows, he quietly nurtured an obsession that spanned nearly a decade, a terrifying stalker. After escaping Gareth Pursehouse, Amie Harwick poured her heart into rebuilding her life. She completed her doctorate and became a respected therapist, specializing in helping those with marginalized sexual identities, from sex workers to the BDSM community. Her career flourished with the publication of the New Sex Bible for Women, her own YouTube channel, and numerous television appearances. Amie emerged as a symbol of authenticity and intelligence in a Hollywood rife with pretense. Her personal life also saw significant turns. In 2017, at a lavish party, Amie met comedian Drew Carey, the host of The Price is Right. They quickly fell for each other, had their first date at Disneyland, and got engaged just months later. Drew publicly declared his love for her on air during Valentine's Day 2018. But the relationship didn't last. Differences in communication and the pressures of Drew's fame led to their breakup by the end of that year. Still, they remained close friends, and Amie gradually regained her footing. Somewhere in the background, Gareth continued to shadow her with silent actions. After the restraining order expired in 2015, Amie noticed troubling signs. Her home was broken into, photo albums were stolen, and anonymous messages smeared her online. She suspected Gareth was behind it all, but there was no proof. She confided in friends about a vague fear of a guy she was worried about, trying to focus on work to move past it. Meanwhile, Gareth seemed to have quietly retreated, working as a software engineer and occasionally photographing events. At times, he hacked into her social media, hoarding old messages. A fateful encounter in 2020 reignited his obsession, pushing everything to an irredeemable brink. On January 17, 2020, Amie Harwick stepped into the lavish hotel lobby in downtown Los Angeles to attend the XBIZ Awards, a major event in the adult industry. As a speaker and representative of Pineapple Support, she shone in a form-fitting black dress, her red lipstick striking. She smiled and chatted with friends, unaware that the gaze of an obsessed man was fixed on her from afar. Gareth Pursehouse, now a photographer at the event, had resurfaced after 8 years of silence. The unexpected encounter erupted into fury. Gareth charged at her, his voice trembling with rage, shouting, "You ruined my life, you hypocrite!" In front of the crowd, he recited messages and voicemails from 8 years prior, proof he had never let go of Amie. Her friends like Hernando Chavez and Aspen Jameson watched as he screamed, cursed, and even collapsed to the floor in a fit of hysteria. Amie, though shaken, stayed composed, trying to calm him and pull him out of the public eye. After 45 tense minutes, she left, but Gareth didn't stop. That night, he approached her again, kneeling by her table, whispering something that convinced her to talk more after the ceremony. On a public bench, Amie listened as he sobbed, attempting to end things peacefully. But as she left with Hernando, she recounted. Gareth remembered every message she'd sent him nearly a decade ago. Fear surged. She knew his obsession hadn't faded. The very next day, Gareth obtained her phone number and texted her relentlessly. Amie blocked him, changed her locks, bought pepper spray, and installed security cameras. She told Robert Koechlin, "If anything happens to me, it's Gareth." While Amie Harwick tried to protect herself after the terrifying encounter at the XBIZ Awards, Gareth Pursehouse quietly prepared for his final move. From January 18th to February 13th, 2020, he stopped texting or calling Amie, an ominous silence. But behind it, Gareth was meticulously planning. He studied her schedule, tracked her through social media accounts he had previously hacked, and waited for the perfect moment to strike. Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2020, was the day he chose as her fate. That evening, Gareth drove 51 miles from his home in Playa del Rey to Hollywood Hills, dressed in black and wearing gloves to avoid leaving traces. He parked in an empty lot behind Amie's house, then silently approached. A neighbor's security camera captured him at 8:51 p.m., disabling an outer camera. By 8:53, he smashed a glass pane on a window, climbed inside, and went straight to Amie's third-floor bedroom. There he lay in wait in the darkness, armed with a syringe filled with a lethal dose of nicotine. Meanwhile, Amie was enjoying Valentine's Day with friends. She started the day with a dawn hike alongside her friend Cleopatra, followed by breakfast at Beechwood Cafe. At 7:30 p.m., she attended a burlesque show at the Globe Theater, wearing a rosary necklace with a cross, a detail that would later become a clue. Afterwards, she joined friends at the Nomad Hotel for tea, laughing and chatting merrily until midnight. When she returned home at 1 a.m., opened the door and climbed the stairs, she had no idea that her greatest enemy was lurking in the shadows, ready to end her life in mere minutes. When Amie Harwick stepped into her bedroom at 1:02 a.m. on February 15, 2020, the quiet air shattered into a nightmare. Gareth Pursehouse, after lying in wait for over 4 hours, lunged at her. Amie's screams pierced the night, startling Michael Herman awake downstairs. The sound of breaking glass and violent thrashing echoed through the chaos. Amie fought back fiercely. Defensive wounds marked her hands and arms. But Gareth, tall and driven by years of pent-up obsession, strangled her until her screams choked into silence. In a panic, Michael shouted from the stairs, hoping to scare the intruder away, but to no avail. Unable to find his phone, he bolted outside, climbed over a fence, begged neighbors for help, and finally got a passerby to call 911 at 1:14 a.m. Meanwhile, Gareth altered his plan. Instead of using the nicotine syringe, he dragged an unconscious Amie to the third-floor balcony and threw her 20 feet to the ground below. He fled at 1:11 a.m., crossing a security camera's view with chilling calm. Police arrived at 1:25 a.m., finding Amie motionless beneath the balcony, her breathing faint, her neck covered in bruises, clear signs of strangulation. Beside her lay a broken rosary, its beads trailing from the bedroom to the balcony. Inside, they discovered the nicotine-filled syringe and evidence of a fierce struggle. Blood on the doorframe, furniture in disarray. Amie was rushed to the hospital, but at 3:26 a.m., she took her final breath. The police concluded this was a meticulously calculated murder. All clues pointed to a name Amie had warned her friends about, Gareth Pursehouse. But he had already vanished, leaving behind a haunting question. Why, after all those years, could he not let her go? After Amie Harwick's death, police immediately hunted for Gareth Pursehouse. Just 13 hours after the crime, on the morning of February 15, 2020, they stormed his home in Playa del Rey. Gareth was arrested in front of a woman he'd met on Tinder, someone he'd texted, "Good morning, beautiful sunshine," just hours earlier, as if nothing had happened. She testified that Gareth seemed distressed, his face covered in scratches and bruises, which he brushed off as a bike accident. Inside his home, police found a syringe identical to the one at the crime scene, along with blood matching Gareth's DNA on the broken glass door at Amie's house. Gareth was charged with first-degree murder, residential burglary, and notably lying in wait, a factor making him eligible for the death penalty. At his trial in September 2023, Gareth pleaded not guilty. His defense argued he fell into depression after meeting Amie at the XBIZ Awards, went to her house only to talk, and brought the syringe to kill himself, not her. They claimed Amie accidentally fell from the balcony in a panic, but the evidence against him was overwhelming. Amie's messages expressing fear of Gareth, strangulation marks on her neck, and friends' testimony about his decade-long obsession. Prosecutors reconstructed his chilling plan. Gareth intended to kill Amie with nicotine, but when she fought back, he strangled her and threw her off the balcony. His blood on the glass door and security footage of his break-in solidified the charges. On September 29, 2023, the jury convicted Gareth on all counts, confirming it was premeditated murder. On December 6th, he was sentenced to life without parole. Justice was served, but Amie was gone forever. The death of Amie Harwick was not just a personal tragedy, but a wake-up call for society about the dark underbelly of domestic violence and obsession. Her friends and family refused to let her loss be in vain. Soon after the case, they launched the Justice for Amie campaign, advocating for changes in domestic violence laws. They proposed Amie's Law, calling for stronger restraining orders, a registry of stalkers, and the removal of expiration dates on protective orders, only lifted when the victim is truly safe. Had these existed earlier, Amie might still be alive. Amie's legacy stretches far beyond her painful end. She was a beacon for the marginalized, from women in the adult industry to those grappling with their sexual identities. Her book, television appearances, and compassion helped thousands rediscover light in their lives. Her close friend Robert Koechlin said, "Losing Amie was like the sun being torn from the sky." Tommy Vex, lead singer of Bad Wolves, choked up during a concert after her death, urging the crowd to break free from toxic relationships. Abuse isn't love. We only get one life to live free. Gareth Pursehouse, serving life without parole, stands as a testament to the cost of unchecked obsession. He once bragged about his six-pack in jail and dreamed of selling a comedy book, but his life renders any humor absurd. Amie, in contrast, left behind love and hope. Her story reminds us to cherish those around us, listen when they cry for help, and never dismiss signs of danger. In Hollywood's shadows, Amie was a light that never dimmed, though fate cruelly took her too soon. Remember her and live a life worthy of the dreams she once held. Once again, we express our deepest condolences to Amie. What do you think of this case? Please leave a comment below. Support us by subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much.